Good evening, everybody. Sunday night, the last day of fashion shows for me. I went to a bunch of shows and figured I would just do a quick recap of the shows, what I thought of Fashion Week, kind of some of the stuff that went on, the designers, of course. Um, so I go to a bunch of group shows. I don't have a big enough name to show up at Oscar de la Renta in the front row. But I actually kind of like the group shows. Gives you a chance to see a bunch of independent designers. A lot of them have some really interesting stuff to show. And I like to go for the gift bags and for the interesting people that you see at Fashion Week. The first show that I went to was Launch NYC. And what Launch NYC did was they had a day of fashion shows, but they also had a runway on one end of the space, and then on the other end of the space, they had a place where you could actually go and buy what you saw walk down the runway. So I thought that that was pretty cool. That was put on by AMP3 PR, which is run by Allison Roy Campbell, who I love because she always includes me in all of her events. Her events are always amazing. They're always well put together. Everyone is professional. Everyone is polite. Um, they go on time. They just produced really, really well. And the designers that were there were great and amazing. Their stuff is really well constructed, which is something that I look for. I sew, so I look for little things like, hanging threads and shoddy workmanship. So I really, really enjoyed that. Then I went to Small Boutique Fashion Week last Saturday. That was pretty cool. It's a pretty long show. It was about an hour and like maybe 45 minutes, but they had a lot of designers. There were like 12 different designers, so there was a big variety. There was knitwear. There was some kind of punk rock club kid kind of stuff. It's not something I'm really into, but whatever. Somebody's wearing it. They had gowns, they had swimsuits, they had a lot of different stuff, and they have a lot of vendors. I went to the show for the first time in the fall, and some of the vendors came back, some didn't, but they have a lot of vendors with a lot of interesting stuff. Really loved that. It was a really cool gift bag. And then on Wednesday, I went to Nolcha Fashion Week. That's also done by AMP3 PR, and that was also amazing and great. Um, there actually wasn't anything that I didn't like, which is pretty good for me. I wouldn't say that I'm picky. I just have a particular taste. So whenever people are critiquing fashion or critiquing designers, it really is just their opinion. You shouldn't necessarily go with whatever they say. Go with what you like. Not that I'll be buying any of this. I shop at Forever 21 because I'm poor. And then Friday, yesterday, and today was Couture Fashion Week. It was my first time actually going to Couture Fashion Week. It was held at the New Yorker Hotel. There was a 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 8 o'clock show for every single day. I went on Friday, and I just have to say that I don't know if I will be going again ever in my life, if they even have it ever again. So I met some people there who had been to Couture Fashion Week last year, and they said that it was really great. It was at the Waldorf. Great production. Everything was on time. Everything was great. Um, this time though, the 4 o'clock show started an hour and a half late. The 6 o'clock show started about an hour and maybe like 15 minutes late. The 8 o'clock show started about an hour, 20, hour and a half late. I really think that's unexcusable. I don't know exactly whose fault it was, if it was that the designers weren't ready, but it seemed like it was the people who put it together who kind of had things all over the place. The lights went out. The music went out. There was really poor transitions with the DJ. So, you know, if a designer had more than one song for their particular show, as opposed to one song flowing into the other, the first song would stop and then the second one wouldn't start for another 5 seconds. You could literally hear the models click-clacking down the runway. The media, or I should say more specifically the photographers, were out of control. Not that this is the fault of the organizers, but the photographers were yelling throughout the show while models were walking down the runway for the audience to take the flash off their cameras because it was messing up them taking their pictures. And I understand that they are professional photographers and they need their pictures to look a certain way and all that kind of stuff, but for them to be screaming repeatedly through the show over the music, turn off your flashes. Were you raised in a barn, people? No. I also found that the majority of the staff that I interacted with were a little bit rude. Now, I understand that they may have been under pressure, considering the fact that the shows were, you know, either running over or running late, or they weren't on time. People were in line. It was crowded. It was hot. Like, I get it. But at the end of the day, you're providing a service to a source, and you're in charge of this, and you're the face that people see. So when someone asks you a question, you shouldn't be rude to them. If you need for someone to move from one seat to another, you just ask them, excuse me, would you mind moving from here to here? Not get up. You shouldn't be in VIP. That, I don't know. Especially when you know that at the time there's only press in the room, and all that we're going to do is slam you. So then today, I went Friday, I went to 3 shows Friday, was exhausted and annoyed and irritated. And when you deal with all that crazy stuff with production, it makes it really hard for you to be able to say anything nice about the designers. You're so tired by then, you're just like, oh, this stuff is ugly. It wasn't, it really was really beautiful stuff, but you're just kind of over it. So then yesterday, it snowed, and had I had a great time on Friday, or at least had a professional experience on Friday, I might have been willing to weather it and go into the city for 3 more shows yesterday. But I was like, screw it, I'll just stay home. So today I decided to go in. I was planning to do all 3 shows. When I got there at like almost 4 o'clock on the dot for the first show, there was a bunch of people lined up. It was really crowded. It was hard for me to get to the front of the line because press should be in before everybody else. And so I had to excuse my way through the line. Most of the people were, you know, nice about it, and they moved out of the way. Actually, there was really only one person who was in the way, this one particular woman. And when I excused myself past her, her husband decided to curse at me and ask me where the F I was going. Sir, not today, not tomorrow, not ever. So I informed him that I'm pressed, and that's why I was going to the front of the line. I assume he just figured that I was trying to cut whatever. He could have left it alone. He did not. He was like, well, so what that means is that I'm going to go past you inside, and you can stand out here in this line if you really feel like it. It's not worth it, though, because it's 4 o'clock. The line is wrapped around the 2nd floor, and you're still standing out here. So get inside. The show doesn't begin for about an hour. I think it was about an hour off today for the 4 o'clock. I didn't stay for the 6. I just left because I was like, screw this. But for the 4 o'clock, oh, and let me add this. So I don't know if this is a regular thing for Couture Fashion Week, but they have performers in addition to the designers. They had opera singers, they had Broadway singers, they had dance troupes, they had an acrobatic dancer. While all of these performers did a very lovely job. I thought that they sang beautifully. I thought the dancers were great. The acrobatic dancer, wow. But why? Why? Whose idea was that? Because it didn't make any sense. Did it flow right? It just seemed a little weird to have that going on in between the designers. I feel like it really took away from the show, the fashion show. Couture Fashion Week, not Couture random singer who nobody knows week. So there was that. That was weird. Uh, so yeah, so my overall experience was great. I will continue to go to whatever show anybody wants to invite me to. I'm open, with the exception of Couture Fashion Week. I really don't think I can go back. Like, I'm putting this out there in the universe that I really don't think I can be a part of it because I had such an unenjoyable time. And it made it really hard for me to objectively look at the different pieces that the designers were presenting, because all I was thinking about was, why did the music stop? Why is that person yelling? Why is that person singing? Where did the acrobat come from? What's going on? Why are the lights off? Why are the lights on? Why is it flashing? Why are people walking across the runway? Why are people standing on the runway and taking pictures? That's another thing. That's not acceptable anywhere else, for people to be walking up and down the runway and standing on it, because you're going to scuff it up and make it dirty and it makes pictures look bad. Like, whatever. So yes, I had a good time. I really enjoyed playing dress up. I don't really, not that I don't dress up ever, but you know, this was a really specific thing for me to kind of flex my little fashionista muscles. I'm not really a fashionista at all. I just have stuff that I like to wear and that I think I look cute in. It makes me feel good. That's kind of it. So I guess you guys won't hear from me, at least about this, until fall, when it's time for me to do another round of shows. So I guess that's all that I got. Smooches, cat and kittens.